Hi, this is Glenda, and tonight I'm making soap for the challenge for the month of July, and it's called Pointy Layers Technique. I am basing my design on the colors from this book cover that I'm going to show you on screen. I'm going to add the lye solution to the oil slowly. And my idea behind it is that I took the colors and I want to make it look like a landscape, but a landscape with those colors will have to be in another planet. So maybe Mars, or maybe Saturn, or some other planet. I don't know if they have hills or mountains, but if they do, I want the pointy layer to look like peaks or valleys or hills, if I make them big enough. And I may do a cover on top, like maybe clouds, but I'm not sure. I'm gonna also show you the sketch that I have for it, and the top layer is still up for grabs. I have not decided yet. The key to this is to keep it at a very light trace. So it's gonna be a very fine line that I have to walk, going from emulsion to just very light trace. The fragrance that I'm using is this one. I am using a lot of colors on this soap, but everything will be in small portions. I'll show you the colors that I will be using, and I'm not quite sure how that's gonna come out to look yet when I mix them all together for the first layer. And on top of that, I'm gonna do black one. This is my second attempt on this challenge. The first one, I did not get any pointy layers whatsoever. I may show you what it looks like, but I decided to go with a different design for my second attempt because I didn't want to have too many bars of the same color scheme. This fragrance is supposed to behave well, so I'm thinking about adding it now. I'm gonna see how the fragrance reacts. At this point, I think it has reached emulsification. I'm looking at the way it covers the shaft of the stick blender, and it doesn't seem to be breaking into oil drops. So I believe I have reached emulsification, and I'm going to go ahead and split the butter into different portions. Let me tell you about the book. The book is about people who have high sensitivity. However, it usually has a negative connotation in our culture, and it explains how there is actually advantages to it and how it's a genetic trait distributed in about 20% of the population. I wrote more about it in the blog. If you want to check it out, there's a link in the description below. And there is a test at the beginning of the book. It was something like, I think, a questionnaire, and if you answer yes to at least 14 of the questions, then you could say that you were, a high sensitive person, even though it's not for sure, because they said not every online test will tell you for sure what you are, but it gives you at least a pretty good idea. So I've done about 3.5 ounces per each color except the black. I think the problem that I had with the first attempt was that my butter became too thick and the layers didn't go down at all. So with this one, I need to be careful just to not let it come to a medium trace, and but it shouldn't be too runny either, so it's a tricky balance. This larger portion, this one, it has reached trace. Oh no, I need to start moving fast. So this is the mold that I have. I think I want to add everything at an angle so it stays somewhat layered. Alright, so I'm done adding the colors. Now I'm going to mix the black. So I'm using this tool to pour close to the surface because I only have one lone spot picture and I'm using that one for the next layer. The idea is to move it quickly from one side to the next, but I think on this one I didn't do it fast enough or my bottom layer was already too thick. Now this is not looking good. It's looking like my first attempt, like it's just sitting on top of it. And I'm not sure how that's going to look. So I'm going to move on to my next and last layer. After 3 long days, I was able to unmold it and I could see some cracks on the surface, very small. However, I know they were not caused by heat because it didn't go through gel phase. Even though I insulated it, when I checked on it, it never reached a high temperature and it always just felt very soft. Then I noticed that there is a lot of soda ash in it, even on the sides and even at the bottom and inside the bars, and I wasn't sure what caused it, if it was the recipe, if it was the temperatures at which I soap, if it was the sodium lactate, or if it was the fragrance. Later I did some research, as you saw in the note there, and it seemed it was the low temperatures at which I made the soap. These parts feel very chalky and the bars themselves felt very sandy, like if they were made of sand, very fragile. After cutting the first piece, I noticed that that first layer did not have many pointy peaks like I hoped, but the second one did, so I was happy about that. And not all of the peaks were in the same shape. Like on this one you can see they're more tight and close together, and on the previous one they were more spaced out. Later, I posted a question in the soapmakingforum.com about what could cause the crumbliness of the bars, because I did try to plane one and it pretty much broke in half. And they were very crumbly on the edges as well, and they were soft, so it wasn't that they were crumbly because the bars are too hard. They actually felt soft and I could leave indentations on it with my fingers. And Dina answered, and she suggested that it could be the low temperatures at which I had made the soap. She also suggested a video from Soapish, which I'm going to put a link in the blog if you want to check it out, on what to do. The video is about how to even out gel rings, and she said that the same process may work for me. Well, I tried it and it did work. So the bars are no longer crumbling, but they feel more solid now. Some of the edges still look chalky, however, it did seem to fix their fragility. Hi, I hope you like the video. If you have any questions or comments, you can leave them below. And remember to subscribe. See you next week.